I want to talk a little bit more about this musical typing that I'm doing here. So if I select a track, you'll see we have the retro synth right there, and you'll notice the name appears here on musical typing. So if I select track, I will see the name there. I can type in a part. Now obviously here I'm going to another track, which is analog, and now we can't even use the keyboard. It's all been grayed out. So next, I go back here to my bass, and to see these volumes, you don't see volumes, you don't see the panning anymore. So I'm going to extend this a little more, and now you can see the volume. So I can bring the volume down and sort of change my panning. It's going to drag, click and drag, and then I'll play the sound. I can bring it down more. There we go. Now I want to talk more about this musical typing. So here, for example, I hold the sound down now. It's based on velocity. So we can see that C and V, these two keys. C is minus velocity. V is to increase the velocity. So I can click here. I click every time I click it, it's moving up 5, right? And I can also use, of course, the C. So let's use my C key here. And now, and I can use my V and C key to go up or down. Right? It's V up and C down. Now here we have octaves. So X is octave up and Z octave down. I can also sustain. So here's sustain for the tab button. So I need to just play the note, hit sustain, take my finger off of A, and it still sustains to the end. To the very end right there, right? I can hit a note, other notes, and we're still sustaining, like a regular sustain system on a keyboard. I can also pitch bend the note. That's how I can pitch bend. Now modulation basically works for other sounds with different keyboards. But generally, if you're going to use this musical typing, you see we can use the velocity, the octave, and the sustain. There are a few pitfalls to using this musical typing. And one of them is that, for example, I'm right here and I want to edit something. I want to go to a tool, right? I can do that from here. But here, I can't. If I press T, I'll trigger the T. So the T, that note comes up there. Also, any keys that require any one of these notes won't work. For example, I go to Window here, look at View. You can't use the B, the F, the D key, right? So you can't use the F, the D, either one of them. They won't work. You've got to be using it right here. So just be aware that you can use a musical keyboard, but the problems will be that some of the stuff you might want to use as Windows won't work. So use the keyboard first, then go back to editing. So after I got the loop going on, I made that beat loop, which is right here, of course. Let's play that back a little bit. And once I got that beat looped, I added a bass line, which is right here. Which is the retro synth. As I select the retro synth, you'll notice here, of course, the retro synth is right there, the main sound, and of course we have the EQ right here, the thumbnail for the EQ, and we have EQ control for channel, and we also have this delay, this tape delay. And there's a bus, 1 and 2. As you saw before, these are patches designed by Logic, and these patches already are assigned sends, they've got plugins in them, and the same here with Mesmerizing Saw. And to make it easier, rather than having to go back to the inspector here for that channel strip and say, okay, I got to click on here and pull that up. Oh, I want to change this, go back here, limiter, and picks that up. No, too much to work through. So we've got this smart control. Press this button here and you're in. Press it again, you're out. But you can also press the B button on your keyboard and we open it up. You'll see the smart controls are here. And generally, I've noticed that there's an EQ right here next to it. So the EQ will have its own separate button here to give its own separate window up. But then other controls contain everything else. So here for the Mesmerizing Saw, I've got these controls. And you don't know which one of the plugins it's going to be used for, right? For example, I've got Chord here. So what I'll normally do is I'll just right-click. It'll open the plugin window, and we got the plugin. Now you'll notice here as I play this back, let's go to the sound itself, and I probably want to solo it a little bit here. Let's go to solo so you can get a really good idea of what's going on here, and we can hear back the effect. So now it's right here. This is chord, and you see this is the chord right here, and it's affecting it right there. That's affecting that part. I also have tuning. So tuning's here. And this is tuning right there. We also have the cutoff. Let's go to the cutoff. Let's go to the cutoff's at. I think the cutoff's here too. Yeah, there it is. And the cutoff is right here. Now I want to look and see what the attack's at. I'm not too sure what the attack's at. And the attack's there also as well. So for our attack, which is right here, this fader right here, as you can see. And then we have resonance. Let's go for resonance. It's the same plugin. So it gives you an idea of which is right here. This will give you an idea that when you do have the plugin up, you'd rather pretty much use a smart control to find out what's going on. Then we have a release as well. Let's go to release. So everything's right here in this one item. Let's go to delay. And now the delay comes up. So see, once you pull that plugin, you got both of them up now. This is a great way to help you get around and sort of manipulate the sound and get a better idea of what parameters that Logic thinks are going to have a really great effect on it. But you can also set up your own parameters. You can say, well, look, I know this particular plugin. I want to use this parameter, not that one. We'll do that next. So now I've got the retro synth. And what I want to do now is I want to remap. So before I was just using the mapping supplied by Logic to control the parameters on a plugin. So now I want to set up my own mapping. Do it yourself. Can't hurt, right? So it's easy to do. Now here, you'll notice here we've got this little eye. This is the inspector that we have for the smart controls. Okay, and we want to learn mapping. So here I have learn mapping. I can select learn mapping, but first I want to select the knob on my smart controls panel here. So I've got this knob release selected, right? And we know the release is somewhere in there. So I can just turn the knob and I see my release. And my release is right here, right? So, but I want to affect probably the feedback more than anything else. So I'll go to here, got my release set up here, and then I know what the release is going to be. Right about there. And I'll play it back. That's right. And now I want to just try to map something else. So I go here now, and before it was a blue halo, now we got this sort of orange-like halo around it, right? And now I just need to select my parameters. So I want to select this one right here. And now look what happened. This is no longer the release. It's now the feedback. So it changed the name of the knob too as well. And it has the setting that's already there for that knob. Now I can just turn this off, and I can affect the feedback. Let's try that. So we can affect it. That's pretty cool. And that's how we can remap the knobs for our smart controls. I can also change the look of it. So we've got our smart controls here. We have automatic smart controls. So here I can click here and you will see different settings I can use. Like we'll go to modern synth. And now I have a different plate look. So I can adjust my plate look and the look of the knobs. And some have even more knobs or less knobs. So you got to check it out and see what you got here. Like in this case, we have 12 knobs. So these other ones aren't mapped, but I can always go back in. I can say learn. I can say I want you to learn this parameter, and now it's learn the note. See that? Or I can say I want you to learn this parameter, or the LFO. Let's do the LFO. I say cool. And now I've added buttons that I can use on my smart controls. And I also change the look. Now what's really cool is that Logic Pro 10 has designed a new way to actually bring in some sounds on a track. And it's called the patch track stat. So it's a patch, which is a keyboard sound, or a synth sound, or a drum sound, and it's stacked. So it has several elements to that one sound. And here's how it works. Let's see, we're going to go here. We're going to create a new track. And we're going to create a software instrument. Let's pull this up here. I've got a software instrument. And now I want to look for a synthesizer. Here's a synthesizer. Oops, let's go backwards. It's an organ. Let's go to synthesizer right here. Perfect. And now we'll look for this pad. And here we go. We have analog spheres. And you'll see it right here. Now you can tell the difference automatically. There's a triangle next to the icon for the analog spheres. Click on the triangle. And now we can see we have two other elements here. So as you can see, they're sort of moved back a little bit, sort of indentated back a little bit from the main actual track, which is 4. Then it says 5 and 6 for new tracks. So let me get this keyboard up here, actually, and I want to play it. Let's go to here, and we're going to play this sound. And so it's a nice full sound we got there, right? And what it does, it's using this bass layer and this synth layer. And with this R selected here, when I play it, it's playing to the track. Now if I click on this one here, we only hear that high end, really high end of the sound. I'll click on this bass layer, and we get the bass layer. So these are two different sounds combined to one. So there are two sounds, and then they go to this auxiliary, where they're both combined to one separate track. And then we get the combined sounds. And it's right here in the stack. So having the stack's kind of cool because you get to get the sounds rolling, and you can always add more to it. I can play along with the track. And you get this real cool sound because they're stacked together. And sometimes I don't even want the stack, you know. So, and if you don't, it's cool. So you go right here, and we can right click on top of the main summing track there, which is track number 4, where 5 and 6 are going into that track. And I can go back here and flatten it. But before I do that, I want to look first at the mixer and see what's up with the mixer here. So I want to pull the mixer up, and we can go to our mixer window, and we want to look at 2. So I'll pull this down, get rid of that one. And we can see here, we've got our base layer, and then we've got the rest of the stack right here, right? And this is our analog spheres, right? So essentially, I'm going to just get rid of this one, and then we're going to have it here. This will be kind of cool. So I'm going to go back in here. I'm going to close this window out. And we're going to go to here, and we're going to flatten it. Now what happens, you can see, I have the 2 separate, and no longer do I have the summing amp. Now that summing one, which they went through, had effects to it as well. So it's going to sound different. And when you play it back, you'll notice it sounds a little bit different than it did before. So I can play it again. A lot less effects to it. Go to here. And you'll notice too, when you actually play these soft synth tracks, you'll see that this R comes up here, the record button comes up. And that means you can actually play. Because if that's not on, I won't pretty much get anything, right? So I need to actually have this on, and then I'm playing the actual sound that's there. So I pulled back in here the mixer, and I want to sort of play this. And you'll see the bass is not going anymore to that summing amp, but it still remains here in the track. You can see it right there. It still remains there, right? And here's my bass, and here's the analog sound. So the analog one, and I'll play this one. So as you can see also, once I select it here, I'm able to play it because it also selects it, let's close the window, here on my channel strip. So let's say I want to go here and I want to create a brand new track stack. So we'll go right here, create a track stack, and then I've got this box here. I need to figure out what I want to do. So it's a folding stack I can create or a summing stack, right? Now folding stack is good for audio. Like I've got, let's say, 4 or 5 vocal tracks. And I said, well, I want to create this up. So you want to learn more about that, you can click right here. A basic track stack that lets you mute, solo, and control volume from the main stack. So it's a summing amp for these audios going into it, right? And then here we have a summing stack is a multi-purpose track stack that mixes the subtracks and can be saved as a patch. So it can be saved as a patch, as a MIDI patch. And this type can also record and play back MIDI. So I can record and play back MIDI on the main summing track of the stack. So I want to create that. So I can press create. And after it does, it's got it right here. This is it right here. And so I can move the triangle back up here. And look at that. It's right there. And we're track. But it's only one of them selected, right? So I can undo this. So I want to select this one too as well. So you want to make sure you always select the two that you want to use. I held down shift and I selected that one. And I'll go back here to create the stack track. I want to do the summing amp thing. And there it is now. They're both there. So be aware of that. And once you get them, the summing amp has changed now. But I can also add my own effects to it. I can go in and say I want to add maybe something here. I may want to add some sort of EQ or modulation. I'll pick out a chorus to add to it. And then you can keep adding and create your own track stack. What's really great about using computers and using Logic and musical software is that you have a sequencer. It's sequencer based. You get these keyboards, but you also get drum machines. And a lot of the big things that I've used over the years are like MPCs or Roland MV. MPCs made by Akai. And then there's a new software out and a machine out called Machine from a company called Native Instruments. And so what's been going on in the music scene for years now is the drum pattern, or taking samples and putting them in the drum machine and sequencing them up. Well, Logic's giving you that also as well in the form of the Ultra Beat machine. I'm going to check that out right now. So here, I'm going to create a new track. I'm going to get a soft instrument here, Software Perfect right there. And now what I want to do is I want to look for a drum machine. Let me get a drum machine right here. Here we go. And I want to look for a sound. So I want to get probably this Boutique 808. And I'm going to pull this up here, and we have it right here. Now you're going to notice something also here. The Boutique 808 has a stack. So I pull it down, we got this stack here. And you'll see we have a stack of sounds right there, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got these 6 sounds going on here, right? And you'll notice on that first sound there, the kick drum, we've got our Ultra Beat. So here, you notice here, we don't. And here, we don't either. Notice that too, okay? So that first sound has the Ultra Beat. So I go right here to kick drum, and so I want to open up Ultra Beat. So first I want to make some room here. We're going to pull back the library, and then we're going to go here to Ultra Beat, and let's open it up. Now this is a pretty daunting big thing here. It's got a lot of stuff going on, and I guess it has to be because it's not like having your MPC or your machine. We have different pages. It's all right in front of you. And you can see here we've got the sounds, right? So there's a little like keyboard here on this side. You can sort of like hit the sounds here. I'm hitting them and we're clicking sounds as we go along here. And you can see that. And we've got sounds to hit. And there's also, let's see, I can mute or, let's see this. So I can mute that sound out. Or I can go here and just solo it. And then we won't hear anything else. And now it's just soloed. Let's go back here and take that out now. And we can play everything else now. Let's drag down. So we can hear all these sounds. And you notice as you hit a sound too, you'll notice too that I'll hit a sound here and there and you'll see that these sounds are like right here. And as I click and go through these sounds, you'll notice there's a sample here. See that? That's a sample. And as I do click the sounds here, you'll see also in this red area and also here, you'll see some LFOs happening here. We have an envelope down here. And so there are some settings, preset settings for each one of these sounds. And you'll notice that. So I can hit this sound here. I know that sound. I'll see that sample here. I'll see the settings for that sound and here as well. And that's what makes it kind of cool having the Ultra Beat inside of it. You can also tweak. And if you're into tweaking sounds like I am, you can sort of tweak and get that feel and the right pitch, how you want to use it in the track you're trying to deal with. Now, this is not just a drum machine with drum sounds. It's also a sequencer. So I can just select sounds here and use them in the sequencer. So I'm going to go here, and I've got the full view here. And now, as I select that, we can see the sequencer. And there are some patterns already in here, a few that come with it. So I can go right down here, and I can select patterns. So we got one pattern here, and some are a little weird here, I believe. Let's see. Yep, there's a pattern there, and I've got a pattern right here. And I'm going to play this back. So, it's sort of like all drum fills that are going on right here in this thing. And you can play this pattern back. So a little bit off some of these patterns are. This is just some patterns that we have that are just here inside the machine. We also have blank patterns. So I can create a whole blank pattern here, as you can see there, right? And that's the beauty of having a drum machine. You want to create your own patterns and tweak your sound to get them where you want to have them so they sound funky, right? So here, for example, this is my kick drum. And we know this first one's a kick drum, right? That's a kick drum right there. So, and then the next one here is a hi-hat right there on D. So C is the kick drum and D is the snare drum. And our rim is right here, right? And of course, F sharp is always going to be your hi-hat. General MIDI concept, totally. Let's say we go right here. And I want to put them into this sequence. And so what I'd go here to 1. And see this here? This is the velocity and the gate level of that particular drum. Right? So that's 1. That's on the first beat. That's 1 right there. I may want to put it on 5. And then 9. So I'm put on every fourth one as I roll down here. And I can play it back. As you can see, it's pretty straightforward. Just 4 on the floor, just 4 straight drums. But I may also want to control the velocities. Like here, I can just turn the velocities all the way up here by just going here into the sequencer. You'll see where it's at, the velocity and gate setting. I can go here to full 127 and a gate of 1 there. And here it's like not much, right? So I want to make sure this is full so I can expand it out. See that? You can expand it like this. Look at that. So I can expand it out to make sure it's covering that whole sound. And I can press play. I can go to my hi-hat setting here, right? That's a clap. Is a hi-hat right there. And we can put our snare drums in. And we can put a snare. We can also put hi-hats in. So let's go back here. I'm just dragging along here. And put 1 in. And 1 here. So you can create your own pattern here. And sort of like keep creating patterns. This is kind of cool. I can press stop here. So it's a sequencer within a sequencer. And it gets some sort of effects in here too as well. So in case you want to change the effects, we can go out of full view. We can go back in here and look how some of those sounds sound and say, well, how did that sound? And we got something going. This is a hi-hat, right? So we got this hi-hat. It's got a little bit of reverb on it. Well, we can change that too as well. So it's a sequencer. It's a drum machine. It's got everything in here to get it really cool. So you got your drum sounds, and you can also tweak the drum sounds. Now, once you've made your drum pattern and you've tweaked your sounds, and you go back in here and say, I got one pattern, I like this pattern here. I can take this pattern, let's say, and I might even want to just copy it. So I'll copy this pattern here. And then I'm going to select here again, and I'm looking for another blank spot, which is 14. I go to 14. I right-click here, and I go to paste. And I paste it right in there. It's that simple and that easy to do, right? And so now I might want to take some stuff out. So I may want to just take this out, right? Taking a few things out of here. I might take that out of there, and then I want to play it back from here. Here's my play button. And I can stop that. I can go to here again. I can do a copy. Right, click copy. Then I'm going to go here, one click, and then go down here to sequence 15. And I want to paste in here, and I paste. And you notice after I do that, the sequence is actually, it says SQ. SQ means the sequence is on that particular set. So we have 1 up to 24, as you can see. And it represents each little track here, little sound from -C up to B, O. So we got 15 here, and now I may want to take this out, and I may want to add some really cool stuff here at the end and get something more going on here with this hi-hat at the end, like a little drum fill. And we'll play this back. Okay, that's cool like that. Now, if I want to, I can export this sound right into my Logic sequencer. So here I've got several patterns going on. So I can go right here and I can say that's one pattern, and then I want to go up here to this pattern 13. And then I want to go to my next pattern, which would be 14. I went to 15. And I'll stop it. So you can see as I change the pattern, they change instantly. They don't wait till the end. When I actually select it, it goes right to that pattern. And you may not want to do that, but you may want to put it in the sequence, just like we're going to do right now. So here we've got it set up here. I'm going to pull out the inspector to get a little more room here. And I can take the sounds. You'll see here, I put my cursor here, and this button lights up with a help message. And it says here, drag to arrange window. So I got to pick the right sequence I want to drag. I'm going to drag 13 out. And I got 13 here. And I can drag this to my right, drag it right here. And then here we go. And we drag it in here. And there it is. We can drag it right out, which is kind of cool. And I can either duplicate or drag it again. So I'll drag it again right here. We'll do it here. We'll drag this out like that. And then I might pick a different pattern here. Let's pick pattern 14. And I'll drag this out. And then I'll slide this over a little bit more. And I'll drag out 15. Just to give us an idea what's going on. Now it won't fit in, but I'm just going to put it in here anyway. If that didn't work, let's go back in. Make sure you can drag it. Let's see that plus sign. So I'm going to make sure we got 15 selected. We want to go here, drag it out. We see that plus sign now, and we're there. And so now I'm going to pull this Ultra beat down and turn off this other beat right here. Turn this off and get an idea of what this sounds like. And you can hear that beat right there, right? So you can take loops and you can take beats you make up on your Ultra beat and combine them and tweak them too as well. I don't have to even keep that. I can go back in, create a new one, get rid of them, and put them back in and tweak my drum sounds. And this is a great way to use the Ultra Beat drum machine in the track along with loops or use it by itself. But the whole idea is to learn how to sequence with it like you would an MPC or a machine from Native Instruments, or let's say a Roland MV 8000 or 800, some of the top production machines out there. But you can do the same thing here in Logic. We're going to look at a new feature inside of Logic, which is actually in Logic 9, and it's called our drummer. So this is a little bit better than what it used to be. And I have a new session, so I'm going to make a brand new track here. We're going to use drummer, and then we're going to look how you can use this software in any session. So As you can see here, it loads up. We have our library. As you can see here, we're going to close the library out actually. And we're going to see if our drummer. It loads with our drummer. The drummer's name is Kyle. And we're going to play it back from the top. So it's a rock set loading up. But what happens here, we've got this live drummer playing, and he's playing this drum sound, of course, and it sounds pretty live, like it's already set up in the studio. Everything's mic'd properly, and you can see that here, actually. You'll notice here, we've got the hi-hat, kick and snare, right? We've got some percussion here, too, as well here, and this is the percussion set up here. I can move it here or move it to there. And then here, we have our puck. And this is our sound puck. It's sort of like not really a sound puck, but it's a puck you move around in this little environment here where we can go from simple to complex, from soft to loud, right? So let's say I want to get more complex. I'll go up here. We're going to hit Crash Party. I'll go down to here, a little softer. I'll move it to here. And so we can change the complexity and the loudness, and we can see the drums that are being played, right? And I can go to here, and we can select other drummers. So this is our rock setup. So I can go back here in this dialog box. When I want to change a drummer, changing the drummers will replace changes you have made to the region settings. That's what this puck does right here, right? So I change the region settings. And so it happens, do I want to keep those settings while changing drummers? Yeah, I think I'll do that for now, just for now. And now we have a different drummer, and we'll have a different sound. So I'll press the return key, and a much more stronger, hard-hitting, solid drummer. This guy's really good here. So we can use this for like some good heavy metal. Or some heavy rock, a little more complicated. With a drum roll. As you can see here, these are sort of settings that are set up for him. So I can click here, and you'll see the drum set here, right? That he's using. Pick this other drummer right here. And if we do that, same box comes up. If you don't want the box, go do not show this message again. There we go. And we'll go back to the top. And see, this is a heavy, heavy kit. See that? And let's go back to rock again. And we'll select another drummer here. And this is Max. So as you can see what I'm doing here, I'm just selecting different drummers. But there are also different styles. We have alternative. We can select Nikki here. We'll go here and we'll play this back. And so we can select any style we want. How about songwriter here? We'll pull up right here and we'll play this back. Go to R&B. So I can change them on the fly. See that? As I'm moving around here, I go back here. That's pretty loud, a strong, sturdy set. I want to change my set. I go to here. I can see this using. I said, well, you know, that's a neo soul set. So I may want to go back with a little Portland kick drum set. So you can change the drums for the drummer, roots. Now, what makes this so cool is that you have the ability to have this really like live sound. So if you're a songwriter and you want to have a drummer play and you get this drum sound you want to have, which is almost like a live feel, you can have it. As you can hear, there are like microphones around here. It sounds like, you know, like it's in a room, as you can see from the little sample kits they show you. So this is a really cool way for you to bring in sounds. And you can also, let's say, for example, I've got this setup going on here, and we've got this R&B setup. Let's go back here to R&B again, and we'll pick up Rose here. And we've got one setting here and then a setting here, right? I can always say, well, for this setting here, I want to have it more like a little bit more simple here. Neo soul, get more flow to it. So I'm gonna bring the flow back here again, like for that piece. And then for here, I want to get a little more complicated, but I want to go back to new soul for this one here. So that's that pattern. This pattern's flow, and this pattern here is new soul. So I can change the pattern makeup. Let's sort of like this squash, and we can see it more. There we go. And bring it out so you can see them both right there. And I can change how that pattern's going to look. And now I can change how it feels. And so I'll take it from the top again. And this is the flow pattern right here. Now you notice also that symbol's right there, but end of the pattern will normally have a fill right there. Some sort of fill going to the next pattern. And that is now going to this new soul pattern. You can get even more complex. So we've got these presets here, as you can see, right? So we've got our presets here, and we got baby, grand here, and then we've got the ability, of course, to select different drums too, as well, as you can see right here, right? So I can do it for the selected track. So I'll go back here to the top again. I get more complicated here. Either drop the cymbals and get the hi-hats, or get a tambourine with that, or a shaker. Check appears here now. So make sure when you got the selected region you're going to work with, and so you pull it in. Now also, if I got a region here, we'll say that's there, I can just go to here and it'll play that region back for me, as you can see. It's a helpful way for me to get an understanding of what the drum is doing. Now the purpose of all this too is also that if I'm going to create a song, I want to make sure I've got the part right. I'm going to select the preset maybe, and then I'll select the drummer I want to use for the pattern, and then I'll want to select the type of sounds I want to use, the percussion sounds. Then I want to select whether I'm going to use some toms here and there or use some hi-hats. And then what you want to do is set it up so it goes along with the project you're working with, or maybe a song or something. And you can pull it out and have one for the verse, one for the chorus, or one for the bridge. And it's a great way to set up a drummer to have that live feel, whether you're doing rock or doing songwriting, or just even doing a simple film score. You got a little music going on in a certain section. It could be in a club somewhere. You can get this drummer to work with your music. Okay, so I've got this track here, and this is the track Fear. This is inside of Reason. It should be in your application support under Logic demo songs. And I've got it here. I pull the drums out, and I set up this arrangement track here. So here's the arrangement track right here, as you can see. And already it comes with markers. But what I did was I went into arrangement, and I sort of pressed this button here. What it does allows me to give me this create arrangement marker. So I can create these markers within the arrangement for the verse, the chorus, the outro, the intro, the bridge, and I can make the parts work. And I can even name my own parts. So I go to here, for example. Here it is right here. I put a chorus there, which should be the end. I right-click. I can even rename something, as you can see right there. Right? So it's pretty cool. Let's get rid of that. I'm going to press Command-Z, get rid of that right there. And now I've got this arrangement marker. So first we're going to hear this back without any drums. So it goes on and on here, as you can see, and we got some parts here. We can go anywhere else. Okay, we got something going on here, right? So, but there are no drums. Now we're going to bring the drummer in. So I've selected this voice lead right here. And so I'm going to add a track. So it's going to put that track underneath the voice lead. And I've got drummer selected here, and we're going to press create. Of course, open library selected, and now we've got a drummer. We've got Kyle, and we're doing some rock here. So I want to move back the library. We're going to pull down Kyle a little bit here. Matter of fact, pull him all the way down here. And let's get an idea of what it sounds like. Sounds pretty good. Right in time with the beat. Now the problem is some parts will come in and Kyle doesn't know what to do. He's not intuitive. He's not a human. He can't say, well, I should play it this way when the guitar comes in. But what you can do, and we're going to go right back here to pull Kyle back up here again. Let's pull this down here. And we're going to get Kyle back in here. Here we go. And look at this. We'll see that here in this track, I have the intro. And we'll go back to the intro here. What I can do is I can say, well, look, this is the intro. That's the intro right there. I may want to have it less complicated. Or here I want to have it a little less complicated here in this section here. I'll go to the chorus. And see, now we're doing what we did before when we did it separately as a separate track. And I can change it here. I may not want that part here. I'll go to here. I'll play it back. You want to hear some tom-toms there. It gets a little too loud right there, so you want to make sure it blends in with it and the fills fit in too as well. Let's go right here, and we'll take it from here. Let's turn off the recycle first, the cycling back and forth. Let's hit this part here and see we're doing kick drum, snare, and some hi-hats here, right? And you may want to do some cymbals as well. Let's try with some cymbals and go back a little bit and play it. And that's how we can arrange around and arrange it for you, because we have the arrangement there, and we can say, okay, this is the verse, this is the chorus, and now as you see what happened was that would cow the drum sets there. I can always change the drum set, or I can change my drummer. So I'll go back into here, let's say, and I may want to have a different feel. Maybe an alternative feel will work here. And we're going to go here. And let's check this out. That's a little too much going on, so it's too complex. And so you want to go here and say, that's too complex. And we're going to go back to a different feel. Maybe a songwriter field here. And we're going to check out here. Check out Peter, what he's got going on. And so I'll go back to here. Let's play it from the top. That might fit what I'm hearing. So you can make the drummer fit the track and sort of just adjust the fills, the swing, but you can also do one more thing here. I can follow. So I can go here and select follow, and I can pick the track I want them to follow. So most drummers follow the bass player, right? So we're going to go here, and we're looking for the bass. Here's the bass doubles. I go here. That's probably a double bass drum, so I don't want that. I'm going to go to the bass line. So here's the bass synth. We go right here and have them follow the bass synth. Now let's hear it back. And we'll play it from right about, I guess, here. And he's following the bass line. And you see how it works? That's pretty cool. So, arranging music out, pull your drummer in, and you can get some extra ideas on how to arrange your music. I want to go a few more details about the drummer here, which are pretty cool as well. I'm going to look for a section I want to work with. I'm going to go right back here. Okay, so it's pounding in there and doing a thing right there with the beat, right? And this is in the chorus right here. And so I can also do this detail thing where I can set the drummer's feel, where it's a little bit pushy or a little bit pulley, where he's pulling back on the beat. Now, a lot of singers sometimes have their different ways they'll sing ahead of the beat or sing behind the beat. Like Frank Sinatra will sing behind the beat. You've ever heard of a guy named Frank Sinatra? And some cats will sing ahead of the beat. Like Michael Jackson will be just right there, just a little bit ahead of it, and sometimes they'll even pull back, which makes him a really amazing singer. But the drummer tends to control the band. And so you'll notice some drummers push the beat. And so in this case, you'll see here, for example, I'll go to push, and I'll play back the same pattern. So there he's pushing the beat. It's a pretty subtle push because we're not trying to get it really out of sequence here. We're just trying to get it so that he has this feel going on, right? So let's go back to the chorus right here again. And now we're going to try and pull him back a little bit. It's a subtle difference that you feel. Now also we have ghost notes. So sometimes there's an extra note heard or it's quietly played, a ghost note, and you'll hear that. So here, I'm going to add some ghost notes to it here. And make sure it's like that a little bit. And then we're going to play it back with some ghost notes here. Let's roll this back to this part of the chorus. Right there. Good. I'll pull it back. So what I could do, that part where that synth comes in, I can add the ghost notes. So I can automate this, which makes it real cool. So I'd be playing the track, and I could bring the ghost notes in when that synth comes in, and then pull them back out. And so we can add this feel, we can add ghost notes, and here, for example, we have automatic hi-hat too. We're going to have a hi-hat open or close. Let's go back out to details. And here we have a hi-hat for sure, good. And then here in this details, the hi-hat can be open or closed, automatic, or I can just do it here. So I can select my hi-hat to be open or closed. We'll play this back. And you can hear the hi-hat's really wide open. So we're going to scroll back here a little bit and close that hi-hat up a little bit some. So let's go here and do that next. And we're going to scroll back to the top of the chorus again. Let's tighten it up more. Now I'm going to solo it. Hear it? Now you can hear it there. Now I'll bring it down some more. How about the ghost notes? Stop it. So we can add these flavors within the track to give it more of that feel like a real drummer. Now once I get the feel, I like it sometimes, you can also convert your file to MIDI and do some more edits. You may want to take out 1 or 2 drums here and there. And it's pretty simple to do that. We go here, we're going to right click on the section I want, which is the chorus here. And they're going to look for a convert. Here we go, convert to MIDI region. I select that, and now it becomes a MIDI region, which is so cool. So I can scroll down to here like this, scroll down here a little bit here. And I've got a MIDI region of this whole track piece here, right? So I'm going to look for this MIDI region, which is right here. And you'll see it. Let's pull this up here a little bit more. And here's the MIDI region of the same idea. And you can see I'm going to move it back here, of course, and I can go in here to my controller here for the width of this region. There it is right there. And I can control, I can see parts, as you can see here. And it's still using the same drum sounds and accessing those same drum sounds used from that drum kit. It's just now in a MIDI region. So I can take out some notes or move some notes over just a little bit or here and there just to get a right feel I want to have for this particular drum kit. So I've got my MIDI file here and I may want to change some of it, but I can do something else. Let's go back and I'm going to double click on the chorus there and I want to probably add another instrument. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to add a new track. I'm going to software instrument and press create. And this time, I'm going to go back up to here, I want to get a drum machine, right? So let's see. We get a drum machine. I get this Boutique 909. And so now I've got a new track, and it's a drum machine track, right? So let's close the library out, and we can see it right here. Here it is right there. Sort of pull down. There we go. And I've got this chorus. Well, I can take this chorus, and I can command click. What's it going to do this right here? I can just drag it down, really. And I option click and drag it down right here, and now I've got both of these tracks going on, right? So let's go to here. We've got that, and we got this one. This is kind of cool. And it's muted. So I'm going to unmute this track here. I'm going to probably solo it and play it back from the top of the chorus. So I'm playing the same drum part now, but I'm using the drum machine to play that part. So that part, let me pull it back here. This is also solo, and play it back. That's a drum machine by itself. Now I'll bring the drum part in too. Now everything's in there. So you can make up a part in the drummer. Then you could convert it to MIDI. And then you can take that MIDI information and put it in a drum machine, and it'll play the same parts. And this is a really cool way for you to actually get the drummer going, get a part you like, and maybe convert to something maybe more clubby, or something you can use more with the drum machine and get an idea how it sounds that way. So it's pretty versatile to use this drummer and come up with really good ideas. So I've got my beat here, made a little loop going on here for my Apple loops, and I got my return press. I'm going to press my space bar and play it back from the top. Okay, we got a beat. So I want to make sure while we're recording this MIDI session here that we're set for a count in. I got a metronome and some of the parameters I want to make sure are set for me here. So I'm going to go back into here. We're going to go to File. We're going to continue on to Project Settings and go to Recording. And this box opens up here. And we have the counting. So when beginning, it's clicked and checked. It says counting. We want that. I can select 1 bar, 2 bars, 3 bars, 4 bars, whatever, okay? And we just want 1 bar. I just want 1 bar to get in here. And then I want to look at the metronome. Make sure you got a click going on. So simple mode is pretty simple. I want to use a click while recording, and only during counting is checked also. And then I click while playing back. I don't think I need that. I have a beat already. And a polyphonic clicks, okay? So this way it sounds pretty cool and pretty strong. And we can see here we have audio clicks set here. And we have the bar and the beats, right? Good. And the tonality is set here too as well, as you can see here. And it's going to come out of the output of the master out. That's 1 and 2 output. It's important to know. So I'll close that window, and I'll press return, and I'll make sure I've got my typing keyboard going on. And I want to make sure that I'm here, and I want to make that part. So I got an idea for a part here. And to record, I just need to press R and get that counting going. 2, 3, 4. Now it's playing the back. So I'm gonna hit the first beat, so I'm gonna double click in here, and we're gonna pull out this keyboard and drag up, and you'll notice here that sometimes you start recording here, this first beat, see this first beat here? It's not really on the 1, so I want to move it back a little bit and get it on the 1 here, see? I want to get that beat directly on the very first beat of my recording and sort of move it there. And I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit so it hits on the very beginning right there. And now I'll play it from the top again. Sounds okay. Sounds a little human. I played it, so it's not too bad for right now. I might want this overdub apart here. So I'm just going to do this here. I'm going to go back into here, grab this, and then make sure I can see it. I'm going to bring back my keyboard again. And I want to try another part on top of here just to see if it fits. So I'm going to go back on top. I like that part. So I'm going to go back to the top here. I'm going to sort of overdub this part on top of here. So I'm just going to make sure we can overdub. So here we're set here and we can do overdubbing. Yep. We got audio put monitor. We got quick punch in allowed, which is really cool. So ready to go. And now I'm going to press this up here. So I put that part in, to it back. I got my part going here, right? So we've got this part, these two parts going on here. That's already been overdubbed. So what I can do for this track here, I'll select the whole thing here. And I may want to see this in an event window. So I'm going to go to my event list here. And we want to look at it. So this is the track here. And we can see where we are, right? I pull this back here. We know we're right in this track here. And see, so I got everything, I'll make sure everything's quantized. So I have to quantize everything that's in here. So I want to make sure the events are quantized. So quantize events, just to make sure everything's quantized. Now I'll play it back from the top again. So we got problems here. See that? Let's undo that. So let's go back here to undo quantize. So you got to be careful when you are quantizing, if you're going to quantize properly, what you're going to quantize. And make sure you're quantizing to the right quantized value. That's very important when recording. So here, I want to go back to the top again. Just want to quantize this one section right here, right? So we're going to go back in here, and we're going to look at this, and I want to select all the notes here. So I want to make sure you've got everything ready to go. And we're going to go to here, select, and I'm going to select all notes. Right? Good. And now I want to make sure my quantized value is at the 16th notes. That's right. And then we're going to go here to the function, and we're going to select quantize events. And now I'll play it back from the top. So here I've quantized this section out. And the reason why I want to make sure it's perfectly in sync, since the beat's real tight, I want to make sure each one of these notes is very, very tight and they're locked right into their positions. And you'll see they're almost the same point. So here's 108, 108, and this is 108. I can't really play that perfectly. And so what happens is it quantizes it and corrects any problems I have where I want to make it fit a specific time signature or a specific quantization of 16th notes. So let's say there are 16th notes there. And so there are 4 16th notes between the first beat and the second beat. So in one whole bar, there are 16 divisions that can be set up. So we're going to go right here now. We'll look at this, and I can do undo quantize. And see that they moved. See those notes? They moved right there, right? So I'll do redo quantize. And they moved right to where I wanted to be. Now this way, when I play it back, perfect. That's the way I want it. I'll go back to the top again. Now, here, I can undo quantize. And we'll hear it back again. And you can hear it's not really on the money, right? You can hear that. So we're going back to redo quantize. And next, we're going to put the other part in. Okay, that part works. I've got another track set up here for the rise chords, and I've got my musical typing keyboard up. And now I just want to make sure I press return and press record to get my count in, and here we go. Something like that. I'm going to take this out of here and cut it out. No need for that. I'm going to go back to the top now. I'm going to get it just right how I like it. So let's take out this cycle again. And I'm going to go back to the top and hit record. Okay, that's what I want. So sometimes we'll do this recycle thing, and I'm in cycle mode here, and it sort of loops that out. But I want to hear it back from the top now. And again, you'll notice here that on the very top, it's not in. So this will happen from time to time if you don't play it right on. See that? It's on 4. So I'm going to move it back a little bit here and get it right on the beat there. See? And now, I probably want to make sure it's on the beat. So here, that beat's there. Make sure that's there. And make sure this comes on a 1. It's got to come in on the 1. And so I'll play it back from the top. I like the first part. The first one works perfect. So I'm going to go back and get my scissors. So I'm going to go get my scissors right here and pull the scissors up. And then we're going to come here right to where the beat's at and make sure I'm right on that beat and cut it. And so now I'll go back to my T tool, which is the pointer. I'm going to take some stuff out. I'm just going to get rid of that. Get rid of this stuff at the end there. And next, I'm going to make sure it's the perfect length here, which apparently it is, right? And so we want to repeat it. So I can go back here to edit, and I can do my repeat. Let's do repeat once. And we're back in. Now I'll play it from the top again. Put my cycle back on. And I got my track. And that's how we can do MIDI record. Well, sometimes you're recording and you might make a mistake. Everyone does. But the real deal is to be able to go in and fix it and make room to record and to punch in a spot that needs to be fixed and leave the parts that are right the way they are. And so in Logic, we have Auto Punch, which is a cool way to do it. So for example, right here I've got a track going on. So I've got the little space here. I want to probably put a little part here maybe. Not too sure. I think I want to put one right about there, right? So I want to go to Auto Punch. So I'm going to go right in here. I'm going to go to my Customize Control Bar and Display. I'll pull it up. And here for Modes and Functions, the third option down is Auto Punch. I'll press OK. Of course, my keyboard comes back up here. And now we have Auto Punch. This is Auto Punch right here, right? And I want to auto punch something right around here. It's going to find my auto punch. Here it is right here. There's auto punch. And I want to drag auto punch down to where I want to have it at, which is right about here. At the end of that last note there. And then what I want to do is I want to come here. I just want to go to about there with it, with auto punch, and have it punch automatically. So let's do that. Okay, so I've got the part there. I'm going to move my cursor to right about here for my playback head, and I'm going to press record. That's pretty cool. So now I got it. So what we got here is this sort of overlapping. So what I want to do next is I'm going to probably get in here and trim this thing up. and put this back where it should be at. And play it back from right about here. Perfect. So next I want to probably trim this little looping thing I have going on here. And I'm going to get my tool back out here, my little scissor tool here. I'm going to remove this down here, and I'm going to cut. I'll snip it right there. There we go. And then get back to my pointer. Grab this section there. Take this section out. And now we got something. So I'll take this section here and this one. I want to play it back. Good. Now let's see if it's barged up. Perfect. Sometimes I want to cut and paste a part out. I got a part I like, and I want to put it someplace else. I don't want to play it again. It sounds good the way it is, so I want to sort of like mess it up. So I'll select the part. I got the part right here, and I pull it up here. As I double click it, we're going to get up the piano roll, and I see the part I want. And this is it right here. So this is the part I want. So I know this is it right there. That's it right there. I want this whole piece right there, right? And I know what that part is. But I need to know where it's at. So I'm going to pull up my event list. And I see here that that part is, it starts at the 8th measure, the 3rd beat, the 3rd division, the 217th click. And it's that note, C4. I got my velocity is at 113. I know the length of it. We're right there. So now I need to just take this part here and copy it. So I'm going to copy this part, right? And next, I'm going to place it someplace. So I can do this 2 ways. The first one, let's do it 1 way. I'm going to go right here to where I know I want to be at. And I want to go and move the cursor there. So let's go to here. Double click here. I know it should be at 4, 3, 3, 2, 1, 7. And now that's there. So now all I want to do is just paste it, right? So I got the section I want to put it in right. I've got the setting right for the 4th bar, the 3rd beat, the 3rd division, and it's the 217th click, right? So I go right there, I'm going to go to my edit, and I want to paste that part in. And it's right there. So we'll play it back now. And we're good to go. So I want to record another part here. I've got this echo verse here. And you notice we still have the auto punch here, right? So if I try to record, it's going to just try to go there. So you don't see it, but you will if it's already clicked in a customized view. You can go right here and get rid of it. See? And I'm in replace mode too, so I'm going to replace whatever in there. Go back to the top of my track, and we're going to press record. So back at the top. Whether using analog or digital, cycle recording is the way to go. You can keep recording the same part over and over. If it's a singer, you can get the best part they've got And if you like just a part here and a part there, you can chop a piece here, get a piece there and a piece there, put it together, and you got something. Let's do it. Now, I've got another part here I want to put into this song. Okay, good. So I got this little part here, and I want to cycle record it. Just try to practice a little melody line or something, just to see if it works. So I want to get a section I want to cycle record in. So we're going to just pretty much grab this here. I'm going to trim it down. I don't know. I'm just going to do maybe this little section here. I'll just do these 2 bars and do a little piece in there. And next what I want to do is I want to record. So I want to set up my record settings. So we can't do it from here. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go right over here, and we're going to go to record and record settings. I can also go to preferences too as well. I'm going to go ahead and record settings. And right here, we've got general, we got our count in, and we also have MIDI. Now here in MIDI, we have overlapping recordings. That means they overlap on top of each other. And so join when cycling. So I could do that. But in this case, I want to do create take folders. So this way it'll create a folder, it'll do a take, another take, and all these same takes in that same area will be in the same folder. So I can select, or if I do chop and paste and edit, the software will know to get it. It's over here in that same folder. We'll get it, put it right back where it was at after I save and edit. So let's do that. And we got a track ready to go. So next thing I'm going to do is I want to get this record function ready right here, right? And we're almost ready to go. So I'm going to press record. This is ready to record, and now we can cycle. So I'm set to cycle record. I'm going to press return, and I'm going to press the R button to record. Try something else. Okay, so you see I've recorded here, and it's playing around. I'm not really doing anything, but the purpose is to show you where we are. And you can see I have 3 different recordings going on, right? So I have 3 recordings going on. There's one here, and there's one there, and there's one here, right? And so as I play it back now, I think I want to zoom in more. I'm going to get rid of the library here. We're going to get rid of the inspector, and then we can view it better. So we're going to sort of like zoom in. Let's zoom over a little bit more and get a little closer view. Why not? And here, you'll see here now that if I click here, this is 1. Oh, this is 3, right? And here's 1. Here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3. So 3 different parts are recorded right there in that one section. They belong to this folder here. And so if I close this out, we'll see part 3. I can open it up again. I can say, you know, I want to listen back to part 2. Here's part 2. And it makes it easy for us to record in the same section over and over and over again and sort of get the part we want to get and see how it sounds. And this is a cool way to get it perfect and also to experiment and see how creative you can get with Cycle Record. Now, I've got my cycle takes here, and I can play them back somewhat. Let's go back to the top. So I've got all 3 takes. And sometimes when I'm dealing with vocalists, I will want to get the best parts of 3 different takes, or more, probably more like 4 or 5 takes if the vocalist is good one day or not the next. And the reason why this is because a vocalist voice, or our voices change. In the morning you have one voice, afternoon a different voice, and by the evening you have a different voice. And it depends, like some singers prefer to sing at a certain time of day. And so by taking all these takes, I want to make sure that I get the right recording. And if they come back, I want to compare the voice quality to the different days that we've taken the recordings and sort of write down a little note knowing that, okay, this happens this day, this happens that day. So I know exactly what to do for each recording. So this is a really good technique to do that for. I'm just going to do an example of it here with this little part I played. So here I've got them packed into a folder. And we've recycled the recording. So I can go here to the bottom in the folder. And here in the bottom it says I can unpack folder to new tracks. I select that. And now each take has its own track, which is kind of cool. And I can also sit up here and just figure out, well, this is not bad. And that's not bad. And pick the parts I want to get. So what I'll normally do is I'll go back through it and figure out what works best. But the best thing to do here is I need to make a new track. So instead of making a new track like we did before, we would go back in and make a brand new track and say, yeah, we'll put it right there, right? So I'm going to go here, and we're in track mode. And here, this second button here, I can make a new track with duplicate settings. So I want to make a new track from the same module, which is this Wurlitzer Classic. So I'm going to go here, and I made a new track. So I'm going to take this track now and put it right up here above this one. I've got a new track. And I can go in here with this one. And let's say I want to pull up my scissor tool. So I'll click here, go to T. Matter of fact, my keyboard's still up, so I'll put the keyboard away for now. And now I'll click here and click T. And I'll get my scissor tool, which is number 5 there, right? So let's say I want to get the first part of this one right here. I go here. Oh yeah, split them. So we split the notes, and now we got a piece here. I can look at this one here, and I might just want to cut it here. Yep, split that note, and then get this piece here. And I may want to come right down here and get this piece right here. And use that piece. So I would then go back and get my pointer tool. And then I'm going to Option drag. That way I'll keep the original here and just make a copy and put it in the new track. And I'll get the parts I want to option drag up. This one here too as well. And then I'll get this part here at the end. There's option dragging. And now I can play it back. Let's go back to the top. See, they're all playing at once, right? So we're going to go down here, and we want to not solve, but mute these parts. So be aware of that. Since they are the same module, they're all going to play at once. So we don't want that. So we want to mute the tracks that I just chopped up out of those tracks and play them back. I want to play back just the main track first. So it sounds really weird. But you sort of get the idea that what we're doing here is we're just chopping up pieces. I can extend the part. I can come back here, move this part over here, and then extend that. Because remember, this is non-destructive editing. And the purpose of this lesson right here is to show you that these parts remain with each section. No matter how I chop them up, they're still there because we are using non-destructive editing. The parts are always going to be there. I can sort of resize this part here, and I'm going to come back here. I'll trim this to here, and I'll play it back from the top again. And so I can make them fit or take them out and redo it and find better parts. Now this is a great way for us to cycle record and then take the parts, find the best parts we like, and make up a brand new track. So now I've got these parts. I'm going to sort of like shrink it back down again. And I've got these 3 parts. Let's say we want to keep them. But I want to make them into one long piece. So I know I've got them. I can rename them too as well. So I select them. As you can see, they're selected. I'll right click and I'll scroll down here and we have bounce and join. And that's just Command J. So I'll join them and they're joined just like that. That's pretty cool, right? I can undo that too. I can also use my glue tool. So I can go to here, and here's my glue tool right there. And I could just hit one of them, and they're all glued together since they've been selected. It's kind of cool. And now this one part could remain there as that main part. Now I still have these other ones right here too as well, right? And they were unpacked already. So I can go to here, and I guess I need to select them. Let's undo that. I need to select all these sounds. So let's say I do that. I can select them all. And then, oops, matter of fact, we need to get out of this glue thing. So be careful in losing any one of your pointers. You want to make sure you're not gluing everything up, and you're not trying to glue everything up. You're just trying to get all the parts that you want to have. And we got these tracks, actually these 3 tracks there. And what I want to do is to go to a folder, and I want to pack a take folder. And now I made a new take folder. But now all the takes are here, see? Even though they were all chopped up, now I got like 6 different takes from all the chopping. But the entire folder is here right now. So I still have the same original pieces. You want to keep those. You never know what's going to happen. You could have to come back one day, make a mix, and one piece you kept could be like a really serious mix piece for some DJ to mix and cut in some other country or across town. You never know. But you want to keep those pieces from that session. Now we have these other tracks now, which are empty. So I can go back in here, and I can just delete these tracks. And they're deleted. And I still have my master take. So I'm not going to use this one, but I'm going to go back in here so I get it really small and tight like that, and know it's in there. I know it's muted, and if I ever need it, it's right there in the session. Now even in Logic, I can do some overdubbing recording, but with drum parts, like I would do with a drum machine. I would probably play the kick drum first and play the hi-hat and the snare and get the feel going on first, and then play part upon part. Now, I've got a little piece here that I'm going to use for my demo here, so I can show you how we can do that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the top, and I want to select a new track. So it's going to be a software instrument, and I use the library. And in this case, before I even deal with that keyboard, I need to pick a sound. I want to pick a drum set. So instead of drum machine, I want to go with the drum kits here, right? So we get an idea. And we want to look at some different kits here. I'm going to look at Brooklyn. So we got Brooklyn right there. There it is right there. So I'm sort of drag it down here. As you already know, you can always drag a channel anywhere in your channel strip. Right there, now it's right there. And then this is the kit we've got going on. So the deal with this kit, as you can see, is I've got a different sound to it. So let's open it up, check it out, and see what it looks like. So I've got my Brooklyn drum kit up here. I'm going to sort of close up some of these little windows here. Those little folders there. And then we've got the Brooklyn drum kit right here. Now the drum kit appears right here. Well, I could do with the piano or whatever. And this is the kit right here. You can see this here. Now, once I start hitting this kick drum, or these toms, or the cymbals, and you're bringing this kick drum, you'll notice I have different kick drums now. I've got this one, I've got that one, and a different one. So these are different sounding drums I can pick up here and place there. I can also, so I can retune it too. I can say, this drum sounds good, but I want to tune it this way. Or I want to tune it down a little more. So I can retune the drums. I can also deadpan if I want. So this is like that, and I may want to just get it to be even a little bit more deadpanned. See, that's dead. That's pretty dead sound right there. But you get the idea. Plus I can increase the gain here. So I can increase or decrease the gain. That's pretty loud right there, and then pull it back down to here. As I click and drag, I can do that too. And I can also compare, so I can compare this to how it would sound before and compare how it sounds now too as well. And it's a cool way. And I also have a bunch of other kits here. So you can see I got the Bluebird kit. I can pull that up and then make a comparison. Do I want to use this one? Here's the blue to the Bluebird, as you can see. And do the same things. I can edit each sound. I can also go back and do the cymbals. Now here in the cymbals, I can pretty much just tune them pretty much, you know. And I can tune them this way too as well. I can dampen them, I can add some gain. And in here, of course, also we have a left and right because they're mic'd, right? So when you have cymbals in a studio, normally you're going to mic them and also have left and right cymbals. So you can see here, if I move my cursor here, the two cymbals sort of animate a little bit here. You see that? And you hear the difference between the two of them. And so I can have a different time, a different quad, a different gain for each one of them. So the ability to do a lot here is like amazing, really, to actually take these sounds and to be able to adjust each sound. It's as though I have a microphone on each one of them separately, but they're all just mini samples. My tom-toms as well, and I can tune them here. Here's low, here's mid, and here's high. Let's tune the high one up. That's pretty good. So once I pick the sounds I like and get the right kit, which I'm going to do right now, I'm going to look for my kit. I think I'm going to stick with the Brooklyn kit. And not a bad kit. I can change my snare drum. Oh, this snare drum. I'll deal with that one. That sounds pretty good. I got my hi-hats. So here we've got tuning for the hi-hats. I'm just wondering, that's pretty tight right there. That's nice and tight. But no opens, huh? So that's okay though. We got that. We like this the way it is, and that's pretty good. So once you get it the way you like it, and you think it's pretty good the way you think it, it sounds, and you got your sounds here, and you're going like, that's not bad, and you're saying it's pretty good, I'll pretty much move this out the way here. And now it's time for us to suck and record. I've got it going on here, got my kit, and I've got the section I want to deal with. So I'm just going to do a small section here just to give you an idea of what we're going to do. So before I record, though, I need to go to my record settings, right? So I'm going to go to record settings right here, go to record. My bottom option is record settings. And before I have join when cycling. So I have join when cycling, that works there as well. Before I had these create take folders, right? And join when cycling is what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to go here. And then we're going to select this section here. And I get my keyboard up here, right? Because my keyboard's going to play these sounds. We got to find a bass drum, huh? And one octave down. Okay, so now I'm ready to record. I've got my musical typing keyboard up, and I've got my track selected here, my Brooklyn track, and I'm going to pull off this solo thing here. This shouldn't be in with solo. And we're about ready to roll. So here we go. And hit the R button. Okay, so we got it recorded, and you can see that. And that's how we can record overlapping on top of the one section, sort of merging the MIDI together. So here I'm just going to double click there, and you'll see here. Let's go back to this Brooklyn track here. Let's go back out of that. All we really want to do here is look at this one Brooklyn track and get an idea of how it looks MIDI-wise. So I'm going to go in here, and we're going to look at the editor. So I'm going to go to the MIDI editor here. Here we go, our list. And we've got the Reggae Fills, our Brooklyn kit. And we can see where it's at. All our sounds, I can edit my data right here if I want to, and select the sounds, and I can see what the parts are, and I can see how to edit the data here in the event list. Okay, so I've done everything with the recording and cycle, And now what we want to do is we want to get into recording these parts as separate tracks. So when we're cycling through, we're recording all of them onto the same track. That's cool for keyboards, because with a keyboard, I might play the chords in one hand, and I'll play the melody in the other. But if I want to just record through MIDI, I'll play the chords first, then the next cycle around, I'll play the little keyboard parts. The next cycle around, I might do some sort of pitch bending or some other MIDI parameter I might change. But with drums, they have to be on different tracks. It's important because drums have different characteristics. A bass drum is bassy. A piccolo high-end snare's got a high-end snap to it. Cymbals are on a different world between cymbals are the crash cymbal and a hi-hat and a gong. I mean, this is way out the world. So we need to make sure each one of them has their own track. So we're going to go back here into recording settings, right? And we get to recording settings. So we've got create tracks when cycling. Now before we had join when cycling. So they join together in a harmonious package that we have to record with. So we're going to go back here to create tracks when cycling. And we'll set that up right here. And next what I want to do is I'm going to go to my return button. We're back from the top with our playhead. And I'm going to hit the R button. And I'm going to record the bass drum first. Okay, I'm ready to go. And you can see here, we've recorded the tracks out. Okay, we've made more tracks. Every pass is a different track. I can go back in and I can edit this information. I can select this part here. I can move this bass drum here. Like for example, I can go to here and let's move the piano out the way and bring this up for the piano roll. And I may want to add another bass drum. Add a bass drum, let's say maybe here. Where's that? Right there. And where's the bass drum? Here it is, right? The snare drum, rather. I can add a snare drum anywhere in the timeline I want to add a snare drum to. I can go up here and get a pencil tool and do that right there. So it's important sometimes to be able to know how to edit and when to edit. But the beauty of this software is that I can just play and it'll place the parts I want on the separate tracks. One of the newest features in Logic 10 is the MIDI plugin. Now they had it maybe in 9, but it wasn't so great. It was pretty good actually in Ableton Live. It's really good. But now they have it in Logic and it works pretty well. So I've used a few. Matter of fact, check this out here. This is the beat we've been playing earlier that I was working with. You'll hear some right here. And some here. Now that one's almost a plug-in where it has more of an echo. But here in the Sunrise chords, we definitely have it. You can see here, there's this little green box here right above the name of the actual synth we use, which is the Retro Synth. And right there we have the arpeggiator. And so what an arpeggiator does, if I hold down 2 or 3 notes, it'll arpeggiate them like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I can do them up or down, or I can do them in random, or we can do them up and down and up and down. So, and we can do even larger notes, 4 or 5 notes held at once. And so the arpeggiator has been around for years. Since they've had analog synthesizers, it's been a cool way to make a different sound happen. But with a MIDI arpeggiator, it's not using the audio. It's primarily using just the MIDI information coming in, what notes I held down, how long I held those notes down for, and how hard was the velocity on those notes. So that when I'm playing those notes, it takes the information in. Okay, You want to arpeggiate them? Well, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this. It's kind of cool. So you'll notice here on this one sound, which is the sunrise chords, right? And you can pull up here the smart control box. You see it right there? That's a smart control box there, right? And you'll notice here on the right hand side, we have the arpeggiator button there, right? So I can pull the arpeggiator button in. And I'll click on that and it pulls the arpeggiator up. So what I'm going to do though, first of all, so I'm probably going to go down here and create a new instrument. So I'm going to close this up and we're going to do it with a new instrument. So we're going to go to here, I'll select software instrument, we'll press create, and I'm going to look for a synth. So I'm going to go back up here to my synths again, and maybe a synth lead, and look for a synth I like here. Let's see what we got here. We've got a couple of pretty good synths. Let's go with this soft saw. This looks good. So we'll use this one right here. So here it is right there. It appears there, right? And I'll close the library out. I'm going to put it below the echo verse. And I have my soft saw lead. Okay, now I'll press the B button here, and we've got back our smart control window right there. But you'll notice here on the right-hand side that we have the little like MIDI thing. If you put your cursor there, it's actually a arpeggiator. Looks like a little mountain of MIDI, sort of like MIDI notes. And so I'll click on that, and once I do, I have the arpeggiator going right here. So I can click it on again and turn it off, right? And I've got the sound there. So let's play that sound X. I'm going to press Command and key for keyboard, and ooh, hear that? So it's arpeggiating. I'll go up in the octave. Bring the sound down somewhat so you can hear it as I talk. And I'm just using A, D, G. A simple chord right there, right? And you can hear what's going on. And it's kind of cool, actually. It makes it easier. It's a major chord. Back to a minor chord. So let's open up the arpeggiator and get an idea of what we can do and check it out. There we go. And here you'll see the controls for the arpeggiator. So we've got pattern, we've got option, we got keyboard control, lots going on here. And I think I'll start here in the immediate left-hand side. And here you can see that's for 16th note. So I'll hold on this chord again. And there's the 8th notes. These are quarter note triplets, half note triplets, dotted quarter notes. And it's playing them up. I'm trying to play them. As I play them, you'll notice 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And below here you see the grid. So as I play one note, then 2 notes, then 3 notes. Now here I'm going to use it. We're going to go down now. And it's playing arpeggiator down. This is up and then down. This is together, but it's better if I use more than one note. So I'm using 4 notes, then 5 notes, and you can see them as I hit the note. You notice there, here in the grid, you can see the notes I'm hitting. This is random, so this randomly selects the direction and the note to play. As I add more notes, just randomly picking which notes to be part of this arpeggiated sequence. Now also, if I go to here and I select, and I press the hand, it keeps it there. I can just turn the variation here. Go to here for random. I can change the octave right here. Now I can do this by just holding down these 3 notes. Here's 4 notes. So you get the idea. I can also latch. So for example, I've got this going on here and I want 4 notes. I'll latch, let go, and now it's playing it by itself. I had to latch to stop it. So here, for example, you'll see that I can click here and play my minor chord, and then I turn this button here, that turns it on or off, see? And of course, this is our latch. Here we can transpose, we can reset, we can do a gated transpose. Turn the latch off there. And turn off by just hitting it. And below here we have a grid. So in the grid here, I can select certain custom arpeggiated settings that are really cool. So for example, I'm going to go to the most simple one, the alternating current one. This is one right here, and then I can even latch it. And I can also go here, let's see, in the grid, and I can do, let's see, this is a custom, oh, this is a chordal jam. I'll just hold some sounds down and test a few of them. You can do it at home too. Sustained chords are cool. And you can test it out. So another option they have here is this note length and random, the velocity and random, and the swing. So I can come to here and I can change the note length. For the velocity, change my velocity. I can make it more random. I can make it swing more. And the arpeggiator is swing now. I've got a short note, just 32% of the note length. And I'm holding it down actually. And I can go a longer length. A little too bright for me there. And more velocity here. I also can change the keyboard. So here I have the keyboard. I can make the keyboard split. So I can go to here and make the keyboard split. I want you to try this at home. And then we have chromatic here as well. We have major pentatonic. We got a major blues and a minor blues as well here. So we got a minor blues. All right, still doing the same thing back here with the options. I can turn my swing back to 50%. So you can try these controls out and check them out. You can also record them directly in the sequence, as I did here with one of my parts here for this rising chords. So I also have other MIDI plugins I can use besides the arpeggiator. And we're going to go to here. I'm going to play this sound. and get it back. Matter of fact, let's go to here first, and I need to pull up my keyboard and change arpeggio. So I can go right here, and to the immediate right hand, you have these up and down triangles. I can click there, and I can change it. Now we also have a chord trigger. And what happens here, I can play one note, and it triggers and plays other notes. So it's already set up here, as you can see, right there. So I hit C, I get that. I hit this one here. Here's C. Here's E, D. Rather, here's E. So as I hit this one note, I can do that. I can also clear it. And I can come in here and say, well, I want to pick the notes that I want it to actually play. So I'd say learn. And I want to go to here, and I've got this one here. And I want to hit this note and maybe that note. And then I'll stop that, and then I'll go to here. So it's learning what I just showed it to do as far as notes and distance between notes. See that? So I play the one note, trigger other notes as well. So we can go multi here. I was just single. But you need to experiment and check it out. It's pretty cool, not too bad. I prefer the Ableton Live one over this one for the chord trigger. And then also we have a modifier. And the modifier works well too. So the modifier will play a sound, and it modifies it. It's more a pitch bend, so I can add more. See? And I can modify different stuff as pitch bend. I can do pitch bend up, pitch bend down, breath. And we have a through button too as well. Let's get rid of that one, and let's look at some more stuff here. These are pretty cool actually to use. Here's a note repeater. So I can hit one note, and it plays it 3 times. See it there? It plays it 3 times. So I can move this up here, and now it plays it 10 times. That's 10 times. Here's 4. I can transpose it. And that's 3 transpositions, and go up again to 6. That's pretty cool. And then we got velocity ramp. So it'll just ramp it up from low to high. And I can do it with the reverse as well, from high to low. And we have a delay here. So I can make my delay longer or shorter here. So I'm going to make it into, let's see, let's make it into 30 second, and go back to here. It's a kind of cool effect, right? So let's take that out, and let's see what else we've got here. We also have the randomizer, the sculptor, transposer. Let's check out the randomizer for a second. I'll hit a note. So it adds velocities. Let's see if we're going to have here selected velocity. Let's look at pitch bend. So it must have to use the pitch bend wheel here for this one. As you can see here, there's no actual effect I can actually apply to it. But we have here the random, and we have high, and we have low. And we have the cutoff. And let's turn this off. Now let's look at one more here. I want to look at this transposer. And here we go. Oh, I see. So I've got these notes here. I can select them, and I can transpose up or down. Or here. Or here. And it gives me my semitones right here. I can do chromatic as well, or we can do major, pentatonic, and do a major blues. Let's check this out. nice major. Now, one of my favorite MIDI plugins to use is the chord trigger, so I can trigger a chord. So as you can see, I have my musical typing keyboard up, and we've got a sound here. We've got our piano sound right here, right? This is our electric piano. And we've got a bus going on here, which I might increase a little bit to get some more audio out of that. And I want to go here, and we're going to go to MIDI effects, and we're going to select chord trigger. Here we are in chord trigger, and we have 4 simple buttons: the single, the multi, we have learn and clear. So if I hit a key, let's say we're going to go here to C, right? You'll notice it's playing this chord: C, E flat, G, B flat. Okay, it's a 7-note chord, 7-note minor chord right there. And this is a minor chord too. That's D, F, A, and C. Okay, so single means that one single note will play that one chord. And these chords are all the same. Well, it'll be minor chords, and it's going to play these minor chords. So I can clear this, because what I can do too, if I want to, I want to set up my own chords. So I want to set up this one single chord that the keyboard's going to play. Now you got to notice one thing also. The blue side of these 2 keyboards is the input. The orange side here is the output. Okay? And we also have this chord transpose too as well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to learn. We'll press learn, and we're going to select the key. And the key is going to be C. See that C3 right there? Now I'm going to go to C3. I'm going to select C, E, G, C, and E again. 5-note chord, right? Now once you select your chord, you just turn learn off, and now we'll have it again. So it's all the same distances between each note as it was with the original here at C, as it will be at D, E, F, or G. As you can see, as I hit them, it's just the same distances between each note. And so we created that chord, and I'm playing that major chord, and every time I play it, it's just a major chord or playing someplace else. We can also do multi. Let's do that next. Okay, here in multi, I have just 2, right? They give us just 2. So if I hit this note here, I'm going to get A, C sharp, and then E. And so I've hit that A. Now if I hit this B, I get B, D, F, right? So I can have multiple chords. Before it was single, I played one note, and then I set up a chord, and then all the notes played that one chord, major or minor or half diminished or whatever. So here, I want to clear this out. So I got this one here. Let's say I'm going to clear, and I clear that one out. And I go to clear again, and I clear this one out. Now I'm free. So next, what I can do, I want to go to learn. So I select learn, and I want to go to C again, right? I'll select C, and I'm going to do a C, E flat, and then G. Nice minor chord, right? And I'll throw the A in for a 6, minor 6 there. And the next one, this one, I want to do just a major. E, G, and then hit the B. So we got a major 7th chord there. And then for this one, I'm going to do a C to here, to an E flat, to here, to here. And so that was the learn process. So I'll turn learn off now, and if I hit this chord, that's one chord, another chord, so I can have 3 different chords. And let's go back to learn, hit this note again. I may even like that. I may want to put this A over here. And then I'll turn learn off again and go to here. So I've got the chords, right? So that's pretty cool. Now, once I have it there and it works, I can always go right here to my keyboard and trigger these actual notes here from the keyboard. So I'm going to go to here. We'll keep it in there. And as I play these notes, let's go to C, I'll be able to play them in the sequence. So now I can go to C or C. See this? So I can do the C. The only one the C that'll work will be the C that's here, not this C. Now this is the C3. Or go to here. That's the regular note. So be aware that you must know where C3 is at. So here we are at C3. This says C2. I'm starting from there. So if I move this octave up one, then this is going to be it. And that's C3. So if you're going to use a musical typing keyboard, always be where you are octave-wise too. And that gives you a really good idea of how we can make our own chords up. Now there are some presets that come with it as well. So let's go back here. We'll look at the program. We'll go to factory default, and we can go to here to multi, and you'll see they have guitar voicing, piano voicings here. We have blues left hand. We've got diatonic left hand, right hand. We also have jazz ballad. We have some pop stuff here and songwriter left hand. So we can pull, let's say, songwriter left hand here. And I can just play some chords. So you can find chords to experiment with, and you can build your own songs. You don't have to be a great keyboard player, but you must understand music information and technology, and understand music theory, of course, more than anything else, and be able to just go here, map it out, and you can play some keyboard parts. One of the most important things to learn when working with any music software is how to quantize your music. So let's get started. Yeah, I'll use that. Okay, so I've got this drum kit set up here, and I'm going to play a pattern in here real quickly. So let's go with this. So I got this pattern in there, right? So it's like a 2-bar pattern. Let's hear it back. So it's a little bit off there. I'm sort of rushing a little bit, right? But we'll keep it for now. And next I get a bass line. I'm going to play a real simple bass line. Okay, so it's a little bit simple. Sounds a little bit off because I'm tapping it in right here with my musical keyboard, but I want to quantize it now to give it that right value. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to probably get rid of my keyboard here and get rid of this library and get a better view. Good. And we probably want to extend this out a little bit so we can see what's going on, and then get a little more of this horizontal view of the notes that are played. That's better. That gives you a much better view. And I can probably pull this back a little bit here, and good. Now, you'll notice here in region for, let's say, the drum. Let's go with the bass first. And we have this region here. And it's the region parameters. We got mute, loop, and we have quantize. You notice quantize is off. Well, let's put it on. Let's find out what we want to quantize to. So we'll sort of play this back. Now I've got my cycle on, so it'll cycle through. Okay, so we got an idea. We'll hear the drums by itself. So now I want to sort of quantize that. Let's go to 16th notes. That's just the bass line. So we're going to undo that. Go back to off. We're going to go to here again. And now we're going to quantize the drums. 16th. There you go. And you saw them move right there, right? Let's hear that back. So it corrected it. See that? Now I'm going to, while it's playing, I'm going to unquantize it. Back to where it was at before. So you see how it's correcting the quantized value. Before it sounds a little sloppy. Obviously I played it, or I'm just a whack drummer. But now when you hear it back, you'll notice that it sounds better when I go to a quantized value that represents what I played, which is a 16th note pattern. Let's go to the bass line now. And let's do the same for the bass line. This is a very simple pattern. I just want to give you an idea on how it works. But we just corrected the quantized value of that. Now we'll get a little more in depth. Now I'm going to go here where it says more and click on more. And here we have other parameters that we can actually manipulate to get a better quantized feel. So for example, we have Q strength, we have Q range, we have the Q flam, Q velocity, Q length. And of course, delay dynamics and a gate also as well. So here I'm in the baseline, right? So I may want to go into the baseline and change its velocity or length. So here, let's say I want to go to length and I want to change the length to, let's say, 50%. And we'll hear this back. Now you'll notice here in this graphical representation of the MIDI data, you'll see that the lengths have changed. The first notes are longer than the second note. See that? Now I'm going to go pull it down a little bit more here and we'll go right back to maybe 10 and see it change again, and I will play it back again. And I'll increase it while we're listening back. And we'll change the velocity too. Let's change it so that when it hits, it's not always the same hit each time. Let's go to 50, it looks better. So some hits are stronger than others. And you can hear that. Now if I turn the quantize off, so you can see if I turn quantize off, I'm only quantizing that note parameter of 16th notes. Otherwise, our Q velocity and our Q length remain with its value. So be aware of that too as well. So I'm going to go back here to 16th notes and it'll fit the pattern perfectly now. And that's how we can change the velocity and length to our quantized value. I've got my bass line, so I'm going to pretty much just solo this up, right? And what I want to do is go back here to the drums. Here, run our drums here, and solo that up. And matter of fact, let's actually mute this. And I want to deal with the drums here. And well, I'm going to hide the library anyway. And I want to go in here and sort of take out the quantized value I selected for now. And then I just want to come in here and put some hi-hats in. Okay, so now I've got my hi-hats in there. I'm going to quantize them now to 16th notes. Put the bass line back in. Got a quick rock feel going on there. Okay, so we're good. So what we can also do here, if I go here to quantize value, here I'm going to select something. You'll notice further down here we have other quantized values that we can select, including swing. Now, swing is a way that we can have the music have more of that human feel, how humans sort of swing the beat and make it fall in line while playing with the other instruments. And the most important lock in most music is the drums and the bass. So we're going to go here. We're going to swing value of, let's try a swing value of E to get real drastic here to give you an idea of what happens. So now I'll play it back with this swing value. As you can see, it's right there. And we'll play it back from the top. See, it's more of a lock to it now. Now mute the bass. So you can see the difference happening now, right? I'll go here to F. Go back to A. And we're sort of changing that value. And you hear it's happening on the hi-hats more than anything else. and you can hear it. And we're changing the swing value of just the hi-hats there. So we can get that feel going on with the hi-hats and the drums and the bass line. So now I'll play the bass line again. And we're going to use this swing value of about D. And we'll play it back. And you can hear the change. Now, remember before it just sounded a little sloppy. Now we're tighter. This is using quantize to your advantage. Now, I want to look at this not in the grid anymore here on the tracks. I want to see it in a separate window. So we're going to open up here and we're going to look here at our piano roll for the drums. Now, I'll play it back. And you'll see it here. We got our hi-hats, our kick and our snare rolling on there. Now, I can also change individual notes, not just an entire pattern. So for example, here I am, I got my piano roll. I can select all my hi-hats and just change them individually. Like I can go to here and say, and see if we can grab these bad boys. And you want to get them here. I can select the ones I want to edit. And figure out what they're out to be for value, we'll say. And then I can go to here and I may want to change them to be this B swing. And they move just slightly. So let me extend this more so you can see it a little bit better. And then I just want to get a wider view for you to see it, and a little bit, lengthen them up a little bit so I can see it more. And sort of move it out to here. There we go, we got them. And you also notice too that when we went loud and soft for the little values, you can see the differences also as well. How some are a little yellow and some are a little greener. And you can see the different values. Here you can see the velocity here is 98. And we see the velocity is 93. Here's 98. So we have different velocities for some sounds too, which makes it kind of cool. So once I change that value, play it back, I may want to just go like to this whole, let's see, let's take it from here and change these hi-hats. And they're selected. So now I may want to change the value of the hi-hats. I'm going to change the swing of that. So I'll go to here, I'll change the hi-hat swing to be more like a D. Or I can make it real drastic. So that was really out now. This last one just went out totally. So be careful of that. So I go back again. I go back to B. So you can change individual values, or I can change, just say, specific notes. I can go and say, I like this note here. So I click that one note there. That note represents all the other drums in this entire pattern. They're already selected. Here I can select all the notes here. I'll select all the hi-hats. And now all the hi-hats have been selected. I can go back to here. I can change the swing value of those hi-hats to, let's say, an E swing. I'm here. I'll play it back. Now the piano roll is the best asset you have here in Logic to use to edit MIDI information and MIDI data. It's really important because it helps you to really get an exact idea of what you want to do and fix it so it's perfect. So for example, I've got this piano here. I'll click on it. You know, we open up this little piano editor at the bottom and we can see our piano roll, but we always prefer to have the window because it gives you much more access to much more data. So, and it's easier to move around too. So I can go to here. I'm going to option click. And I click it twice and it opens up. Now remember also, if you open it up and just double click it here, you can also go right here where those scissors are and just close it out too as well. So I press option, double click, and the window opens up. And it's a pretty big window. So I'm going to scroll up here to this part, as you can see right here. And here you see we've got several options, see what's linking, what's not. You'll notice for one thing that we have a top menu bar that's somewhat the same as the main window. There's no real menu here, but some of the same options we have. Of course, we can horizontally and vertically sort of improve our view of the data that we see. We also have here, we have a smart snap, and we also have snap regions to absolute values, which we'll cover later on. You can also see where we are on the timeline. If I move my cursor here, notice where it's moving. It's moving to where it's at is 23. You'll see that here. I'm at 23 here in the grid. And you'll see here that this is telling us where our cursor is currently at in the grid, and also the note value that we're currently at, the note value. Our tools are right here, as you can see. And then here, we have more tools. So just like we have on the main screen, we have our first tool set and our second tool set. And our second tool set is normally our alternate tool set, right? That's pretty simple. Now over here we have our link. Now here I can link this to another track or some other information. Here we have our catch playhead. So I've made a cycle here with the piano roll to give you an idea what's going on here with this little button here, the catch button, right? So this is our playhead catch. And what it does, it sort of, well, watch. I'll press play. And now there's playheads rolling past the screen. And then, oh, it comes right back for the next part. And then the next part comes up, it's rolling to that part now, it's rolled there, right? Okay, that's kind of cool. Now, if I go back to the top of this part again, or as I let it roll, I'll just let it roll, and I'll turn off the catch. And you'll watch, it won't go there. It's still going, but we don't see it. So it catches it. Okay, here you are, here you are, here you are there, here you are there. Otherwise, it'll just keep playing on, and it'll just pass us by next time it comes past here. And so the purpose of the catch head is to make sure you know where you are when that thing comes back. I can stop it now, and I go like, okay, take me to it, and it does automatically. So it's important to leave that on. Now here we have our MIDI out. This means the MIDI information is being sent out. It's going right to that instrument, it's playing the instrument, and the audio we're hearing. So I press this on play, and I click this, it's not going to be sending information out. So we got to make sure it's keep sending information out totally. All right, so that always stays on. Next, we have this, which is our MIDI input. Now this works when we're going to do step editing and step MIDI input as we did earlier. As you can see here on the left side, we have this piano. And it represents the keys on the piano, as you can see as I scroll past there. And you play them and they'll ring based on the parameters for your particular soft instrument. But you can see here that, for example, here this is C. And everything in this lane here is all C. So for example, I've got these notes here, and we're going to go to C right here. And this is C4. And as I select that note, you notice every note in that lane has been selected, as we did earlier in Quantize, right? I can go right back in here and click inside the window, and I deselected all the selected notes. You also notice here we have colors. So we have a green color, we have a little orange color here. Well, this is sort of based on the colors that we have in our view. So go here to View, and we're going to set note colors, and it's set for velocity. So that means that the harder this thing hits, probably more than anything else, they have one velocity. And here, as you can see here, we have 105 is another velocity. So here, green, this green is a quieter velocity. Not say it's so hard. And meanwhile, this brown here is a much harder velocity, as you can see. And of course, this is our playback head in the window. Now here on the left-hand side, you also see I have quantize, and we have strength and swing. So here, we can also sort of change the quantize value much easier. Like we can go here and sort of slide it over for strength and quantize value for strength, and we can control our swing from here too as well, from 0 to 100. As before, we just picked it, which is the parameters that are already set by Logic, but we can also change those values here in the piano roll window. And we can also scale quantize. Like for example, here we are on quantizing. We can scale, take a scale, and we want to quantize the C scale, right? Or we want to quantize the major. So it could be C major or C minor. And we have to quantize just C major or C minor. And we have our velocity set right here. Now I can take my cursor and click right here in the window, and I have a little menu that comes up here. I can create a note, paste at original position. So if I have, let's say, I'm copying, pasting the part I have, and it's a whole section. I can paste it the original position, it'll paste it there. I can select all the notes, as you can see. Once I do, they're selected. I can select overlapped regions and events. So if regions are overlapping somewhere, I can select them and they'll be selected. As you can see here, what's been overlapping in this event has been selected. Any events there that have been overlapped or regions. And we also have select muted regions. I can do that, and we have none at all here in this track. And articulate ID, I or O. And we already saw how we do velocity colors, so we can do region colors too as well, and MIDI channel colors too, and scroll and play. So, but what's most important here for me right now to teach you is the create a note. I just created a note. I created a C, and that's C6 right there. That note is right there. I can take that note, I can pull it out like this, I can pull it back like that. I can get the other end of it and do the same here. As I do, I got a little menu that comes up there that tells me the position. Okay, you're now approaching the 21st measure and third beat, whatever. I can extend it to exactly where I want to extend it to, and it'll tell me where I'm going with that note. And that's how I can paste a note in. I can also draw one, so I can take this note, I'm going to exit out, and we have, of course, our alternate tool. So I'll just command click, and now my cursor has turned into a pencil. So I can draw a note. One here, one there, one there, right? I can draw my notes anywhere. Now you notice too, as I'm drawing them, they're drawing right there on the 16th note, because my quantize value is set there already. So it's showing them right there. And it's also drawing them, as you'll notice here, the velocities are all the same. That's because the velocity set here, you see on the left, set to 80. If I move this up more and go there, and I want to draw the note right here, and press the command, and draw this note, we see the velocity is still back to 80, right? Because I set this back to here. It goes back to 8. I can take it now and move this up. And as I do, you'll see the value change here. And now it's 123. I can always select the note here and then change its value right here. And you notice too here, it's like I have this pencil. The pencil tool also becomes a trimmer at one end or the other as well. And so I can go to here like I did before and drag the front or the back out of that note. And then also if I go in the middle here with this tool, I can slide it or move it up anywhere I want to move it, slide it to, and move that note there. I can do the same thing also with the pencil tool, the same thing. You can see, but it turns to a trimmer after a while. It turns back to this cursor tool right here. Let's undo that. Good. And I'm going to bring it down here a little bit less of that note. There we go. And I can also drag it just where I wanted to drag it, up and down, not side to side. So sometimes moving it side to side, it sort of gets quirky. You're trying to move a bunch of notes, and then you got to be exact. So you hold down the shift key, and then as you drag it, nothing will happen. So you go to here, let's grab it first. So I'm trying to move it around, and now, and I move it around, so I can move it, but nothing's happening here. So I've got my shift key held down now, and I try to go from side to side, I can't. It stays right there. And that's a great way to keep it still so that note does not move. It makes it easier. And you can just keep within the same timing. Now, I can also grab more than one note. I can go to here and semi-grab. I want to get this whole chord, that chord's a little bit ahead of the beat. I want to move it back a little bit. So I can go ahead and grab it, and I've got these three notes, and I can move back just to here. Oh, there you go. I want to put it right there. And you can put them right where you want to put them at. So it's a great way to move around several notes at once. Now, another great way to actually change the velocity of these notes is to pull up your tool. And we got a velocity tool right here, so I can select several notes. Let's say this, I got this chord here, right? And I want to sort of increase the velocity of these. So I can just go to here, right? Dragging down is softer, or I can get it louder. So I move up louder, you can see the top velocity is 127, and I can pull it down or get it down to 3, and just get the right velocity I want to have for that one chord, which is cool. Now I can also change and move notes based on the quantized value set here in time quantize. And I can also go to my quantize tool right here. I grab the quantize tool, and I may want to move something in a particular quantized value. So I can go to here and say I want to use this 60 note swing. And I want to move several notes. Let's say this note here, I hold down shift, and this note here and that note. And since I touch them, they're moving to that swing value. See that? And my swing value here was set to 1/16 swing B. Now before I did a swing value, it was for an overall part to a song, a bass line or a drum. I can do swing values for individual notes as well, right here. Just pull up this quantize tool and you're in. Now another cool feature we have here is that sometimes you're going to have notes at the same value, right? And I tend to want to like keep some things in the same velocity level. So it's easy for me to mix somewhat. And I can later on compress them. I can go here to select all, and I can say, let's see, where's selection here? We're going to go to select. I can look at same note name, same notes of the same pitch. As you can see here, we got same notes of the same MIDI channel, same notes of the same pitch. So same pitch. And it selects all the notes of this one pitch here. So let's say I pick this note here, right? And I want to select that note. Okay, I want to fix these notes up. I can go to here, select all notes of the same pitch. I select this, and it selects all those notes that are right there, like I can do with the key as well. Another cool item they have in the menu is selecting notes of equal color. So I can go back here to edit, and I'm going to go to select. And you'll see here equal colored notes. Now remember, this is all based on, more than anything else, the set note color, what it's going to be on velocity or by region or by MIDI channel, okay? We won't see MIDI channel here, so right now we're just using velocity. So I'll go to here, I'll select this note, one note here. That's the note I've selected. And I'll go to here, and we're going to go to our select, and the option down here, seventh option down, is equal colored notes. I select that, and you'll see all the notes are the same color selected. And that's their velocity. And I can just bring their velocity up or down for all those notes. Now I'll do that, bring up a little bit here, and then I'll click back. You see they're all like a little bit red there, right? I can do undo, and you can see they went back to the main color they were before. So it's a cool way to select notes that's in a range. Let's say I got a bass drum or some snares, and I want to have them up higher. They're the same color there. I can do that, or the same with the bass line or something. And it's a cool way because some patches sound different at different velocities. Now here we have snap, and we have snapped, and we can go to snap bar, beat, division, ticks, frame, whatever. And we have absolute and relatives. Let's go over this actually. Here we are in snap. I've got something snapping. I can move it anywhere in the time. I'm gonna move it a little bit, and it moves right there. Because I can see it, I can move that. But if I'm further out, let's say I'm out here like this and I got a whole bunch of notes, I really can't see that. You know, it's like, well, I can see some of them, but I don't know where they are. And if I move a note, and I keep moving this note, it's going to move it in smaller increments. It's going to tell me that too when I do that. So it's sort of smart in a way that I can't move it as fine as I did before and really get out of it because I can't see it. It'll move it in just a small enough increment that I can see where it's moved to, where it's moving to that one beat or within the next half a beat. But I really can't move it to the small, finer divisions. So I can go to bar, let's say, let's zoom back in. And I can go here to bar. And see, I'm between bar 22 and bar 23. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. I can take this note here, right? But see, I moved it, and it moved up, and I moved it over to the right, and look what happened. It moved it there. So it moved to the nearest bar. I can go to beats, and it'll move it to the nearest beat. That's this beat here, so that's a 1 beat over, right? Let's go to divisions. I move divisions, and now it'll move to here, it'll move to there, it'll move to here. That's sort of just trimming it. Let's move it again. Here, here. I can move it anywhere, right? And that's a division. And if I go to ticks, it's even funner. So I can go anywhere. Here, here. It's close. Because remember, there are 240 ticks between each division. So it makes it much more finer resolution. I can move it right to right about there and get a really perfect idea, hear it back, and say, that's what that note should be. Now, this is all based also on absolute and relative positioning of the region within the grid. So, relative means I'm relative to where I am. So here I'm here, I'm moving it, so I'm moving it relatively to here. Absolute means we're locked in absolutely to the grid and the grid's absolute value. So if I move that there, I'm not moving in ticks, and I want to move, let's say, in beats, right? And I'm right here, and my value right here, and it's like 2241. So I move this here over again to beats. It's absolute. It says, no, we're going to be actually right here. So if I moved it and it was off the beat, it absolutely puts it on the beat.